All right, I've been so excited about this session, can't tell you. One confession to make, Rujuta. It's been close to 4 years that we've been trying to get you, okay?
Oh, okay.
And I'm so glad that you finally agreed and we have you. And what better timing, because we are at this cusp of time when corporate wellness is going to go through the roofs. There's so much happening in the wellness and well-being world right now, and everyone's trying to find answers. There are so many questions around us, there is so much of complexity, yet each of these organization leaders are over here to find answers which could simplify their approach towards wellness, well-being, fitness. That's what we're going to be talking about. So my first question, and I think that's something that I've heard you talk so many times, but I think it will be great for people to sort of hear. Can you demystify 3 myths for us on dieting?
Okay, first of all, hello everyone, and thank you for coming. It always breaks my heart when people come on time, but the speaker doesn't quite come up on time. I think it's terrible. And as someone who comes from Mumbai, I know कि अगर train 2 minutes से भी late हो जाती है तो station का क्या हाल हो जाता है. So sorry for the late start, but we are starting nevertheless. Thank you very much, Pushkar, for having me here. And when it comes to myths, I think I've almost made a career out of breaking myths. अगर myths नहीं होते तो मैं भी यहाँ नहीं होती. So a lot of times I meet people, even Pushkar recently, I mean just 5 minutes ago he told me that he lost a lot of weight in the last 1 or 2 years, and he actually followed his mother's advice, and his mother said, forget everything, just go back to eating your normal Marathi food. And these kind of things, they inspire me, but they also break my heart, because I keep feeling कि अगर हर कोई अपने माँ और बीवी और बेटी की सुनेगा तो मेरा तो धंधा बंद हो जाएगा. So it's nice that you listen to your mother, but it's for me it's like I said, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. I want people to listen to homegrown wisdom. That's my business model, but I'm busy monetizing it. So I'm hoping that you listen to me first and then follow it later. Okay, all right. So the top 3 myths. Number 1, the biggest myth is that rice is fattening. I want to tell you it's not. Rice is nice. मैं ये इतने बार बोल चुकी हूँ कि लोग बोलेंगे अरे यार भाई कुछ नया बोलो, पर नया है ही नहीं, सब कुछ पुराना ही है. हम लोग भी पुराने ही हो गए इधर. I mean, we are all alive for the last 20, 30 years, trying a new diet every single year, every new year, failing at it every time, only to go on to a new, unpronounceable, imported, expensive fad the next year. So I think now what we need to do is get into our kitchen, start eating rice. Rice is rather nice. Rice में एक चीज़ है जिसका नाम है #prebiotic. Okay, prebiotic is actually something which is food for the good bacteria in your body. So if you are one of those people जिसको लगता है कि मैं सुबह thin रहती हूँ और शाम को fat हो जाती हूँ, या फिर मेरे jeans का बटन कभी-कभी लगता है, कभी-कभी नहीं लगता है, कभी-कभी बेड पे लेटने से लगता है. So if you go through those kind of things, then I think what you need on your plate is rice, and rice is nice. Start eating it. सिर्फ एक ही person को आपको rice नहीं खिलाना चाहिए, वो जो आपका दुश्मन हो, क्योंकि दुश्मनों को अच्छी चीज़ क्यों खिलाना. So rice is nice. That's the first thing that you should know. The second myth that the weight loss industry has propagated is that it should be extremely hard and difficult for you to lose weight. That it should need immense willpower and discipline for you to lose weight. अरे विल पावर और डिसिप्लिन और वेट लॉस का क्या लेना देना. शादी थोड़ी है. शादी में लगता है विल पावर, डिसिप्लिन, कॉम्प्रोमाइज, दोज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. डाइट में यू कॉन्स्टेंटली दिल की सुनो और बात चल जाती है. डाइट्स हैव टू बी सस्टेनेबल, not goal oriented. They cannot be goal oriented. They need to be effort oriented. I think that's the one thing that we all need to understand, that weight loss can be a joy when it's pursued the right right way. Just like how jobs turn into careers when they're pursued the right way. You can create an enabling environment for you to eat right, and it need not be a torture. If it's a torture, get off it. Life mein there are adequate tortures, so diet ke through kai ke liye torture karne ka khud ko. And the third myth is that you need to be walking 10,000 steps a day or something like that to lose weight. I do know that there are enough programs also जो के match करते हैं कि sales ने कितने steps चले, production ने कितने चले, tech ने कितने चले, and which is exactly why I think a lot of corporate wellness programs don't work, because they feel like you're filling out a time sheet जो कि आप any which ways करते ही रहते हो अपने job में. तो अभी fitness और wellness के तरफ भी अगर if it comes to numbers, then it is bound to fail. So I always say this to all my clients who say this to me, that in my life I've been successful at everything other than losing weight. And I say to them, that's only because your approach has been wrong. Our approach to wealth has to be our approach to health has to be the mirror image of our approach to wealth. If wealth is all about numbers and goals, then health is all about feelings and effort. It's about a culture, and it's not about numbers. So you can go hard at yourself when it comes to chasing targets at work, but you have to learn to go easy on yourself when it comes to the whole process of losing weight in a sustainable manner. 10% of your weight loss is what you should be losing at the end of every year, not at the end of every month. क्योंकि अगर 10 किलो या 10% ये month के end में lose हो गया, तो 20% अगले month में gain होने वाला है. Everyone knows that. But if you do knock off 10% of weight every year, so in 2025 you're thinner than what you were in 2022. Otherwise हम लोग जो hard chase करते हैं उसको 2025 में we are fatter than what we are in 2022. So that's what we have to do as well as HR leaders. Pushkar was telling me you're all together managing at least 1 crore or maybe more of people. Yeah, if your carrot looks like the stick, if the wellness program is looking like a stick, no one is going to go for it. I think that's what we need to know.
No, thanks so much for sharing that. I really like that, the whole stick piece can't really get stuff done out of people, especially on personal wellness and personal well-being. That's so rightly put. Each one of us, since you brought this whole topic about, in this room, there are so many leaders who are managing, people-related function, and, wellness and well-being is one of their core agendas. So many of them are creating programs for them as well, right? Now, many of them want to create holistic programs on wellness and well-being, but we remain in transactions, right? That's one aspect. The other aspect is, even if we try to build these programs, adoption is another big challenge where we need to run. That's where the sticks come out.
Right.
What is it that we should be doing? How do we, sort of put our arms around this whole challenge?
Pushkar, it's interesting that you're asking me this, because right from the time that I started my career, I started in 1998. People have asked me, why are you not a part of any corporate wellness program? There is so much money to be made there. And, I've always said to them that, Number one, there is not much money to be made there. HR leaders के साथ बात करो तो पहला तो negotiation का ही बात आता है, which is really tough if you don't know how
That's
to
because we are tight on budgets.
Yeah. But you want the best people. ये चाहिए लेकिन 2 रुपए में चाहिए. So एक तो पहला तो negotiation करना पड़ता है. दूसरी बात ये है कि people are not serious about adopting any one thing I want to tell you, though you didn't ask me this. I've seen a lot of HR leaders have a very bad habit of where they will want people who in the wellness industry to come and talk to their, to their teams and stuff. And then they'll say, अगर तुमने अच्छा बात किया ना तो हम लोग में से ही कोई लोग तुमको join कर लेंगे. I'm like, अरे बाप रे, ये कौन सा offer है? It's a terrible offer. I mean, you should be making programs in a way where no one then needs to look for anything outside of the company wellness program, right? I think that should be the whole aim. So that's one reason that I never got into it, that it's very tough, and like you said, adoption is very hard. And the reason why adoption is very hard, and I feel this all the time, is because wellness cannot be looked at like a sales target. You know, you can't chase it like a sales target. And what you really need to keep your employees well is a culture which has an enabling environment to keep them well. If in your meetings all that you're going to serve is pastries and coffees and samosas and bhajiyas, if every 10 meters all that your people can access is Lays and Pepsi and Coke and a Costa and a Starbucks, and there are no fruits and there is no chas and there is no nariyal pani and there is no dahi rice and there is no poha and there is no upma and there is no roti jaggery ghee, तो कहाँ से public well होने वाला है? They are going to get sick. And it really breaks my heart that big organizations where students kind of aspire to get a job with them, you join them at the age of maybe somewhere between 21 or 24, you're looking beautiful, glorious, you're naturally fit. By the time you're 30, you look like a sad version of yourself, And if everyone is getting fat within a year or 2 years of joining your organization, the problem is in the environment and the culture, and not in the individuals who chose to work with you. Because then you're saying, हर कोई जो हम लोग के साथ काम करता है वो गधा है, उसमें will power नहीं है, उसमें discipline नहीं है. If that was the case, there would be no profitability for the company. If the company can continue to employ more people, but people get fat every year and not fit every year, you're doing something very, very wrong. And I think what you now need to do, so I have like 2-3 things which I think everyone can adopt, and it's inexpensive and it's easy. Number one, though I don't know if you asked me this, but I think the reason why
Go on.
but the reason why adoption is a problem is because it doesn't really address core issues. And any solution which doesn't address core problems is not going to work. So सबसे पहली चीज़ है that everyone gets hungry between 4 and 5 p.m. in the evening, okay? Now, at that time, if all that is available is like a samosa and a bhel puri or a dosa, and if it requires you to leave your desk and go far away to get it, then people are going to eat wrong and people are going to reach home and eat, I don't know, whatever comes their way for dinner. And now with Swiggies and Zomatos, they're even going to order all the stuff that they know they should not be eating so that it reaches home by the time they reach home. So I think 4 to 6 p.m. is a snack that every company needs to crack. It can be easy. It can be something like, moongfali or peanuts. I think everyone's kind of grown up eating that. So a handful of peanuts or moongfali. Cashews is also a good idea if you're having a terrible boss or terrible deadlines to catch. Cashews is like de-stressing, but the only time that we drink it, the only time that we eat is when we are drinking alcohol. And then we think alcohol is very good for the heart and cashews are very bad for the heart. Actually, ulta hai. Cashews are very good for the heart. Alcohol is terrible for the heart, but cashew farmers don't have the money or the budgets to position cashews as something which is good for the heart. Lekin alcohol has all the money to position itself as good for the heart. Agar good for the heart karna hi hai alcohol ko, then the only way alcohol is good for the heart is when you're not drinking it. At that time it's excellent. Till that time it's terrible. So between 4 and 6, have a healthy snack. Keep fresh local fruits available at all points of time, instead of those stacks where you have ready-made food, jo public just packet khulta hai aur khata hai, like chips and stuff, because jitna packet khulta hai, utna pet fulta hai, So you can have, no, thank you. Thank you. You can have things like banana, you can have jamun, you can have bear, you can have mossambi, you can बहुत सस्ता सुंदर टिकाऊ stuff है जो कि अगर हर रोज पब्लिक को दिखेगा तो कोई ओवर ईट भी नहीं करेगा. You know, the first time people see it, they eat so much that HR people go like, oh shit, like this is not going to fit into my budget, you know. But हर रोज देखेंगे बोर हो जाएंगे, फिर ज़रूरत के हिसाब से ही खाएंगे. And I think the third thing that everyone needs to do so that adoption becomes easy is that time to exercise has to be a part, you know, you need to give them that time and it needs to be accounted for in their daily work thing, whatever time sheet या जो भी रहता है उसमें 1 hour and a little more than 1 hour, because no one can actually go in and out in 1 hour. You know, think about it practically. People need to do susu after exercise. They need to change their clothes. They need to have a shower. So it needs to be at least an hour and a half, which is on their daily sheet, where they don't need to be present for meetings, where they don't need to be doing anything other than exercising, and they can choose it themselves and block it on their calendars. I think that kind of works, because then you can hold them accountable for it, because वो लोग नहीं choose किया. Otherwise आप लोग देते हो. When you give a target, no one's going to follow it. But if they give you what they're going to follow, then there is a good chance that they will do it. I have one more tip. See, I also feel that the best looking place in the office is for the CEO or CFO or CTO or whatever. वो एक आदमी अकेला उसको occupy करके क्या करने वाला है? वो bore होने वाला है. You know, they are constantly on their phones or whatever. You want to use that place properly, make it a workout zone. You know, let that be a place for your yoga class, for your treadmill, for ताकि सबको दिखे कि देखो ये तो हर रोज ट्रेडमिल पे रहती है या you know, and then many more people can access, because real estate is also expensive. So instead of just one person using it, even if 20 people use it per day, well, one of the reasons why there is poor adoption of programs is because you make workout zones in the most third class corner of your office, you know, in the basement or in a corner where no one can see you. So it should always, because we are social people, we should be able to look outside कि देखो सड़ रहा है कंप्यूटर पे मैं वर्कआउट कर रही हूँ, and they should also be able to see us. So I think those are small things which will help.
Interesting, very interesting take, Rujuta.
Thank you.
And we all need to find our hacks, right? And these hacks need to be culturally aligned to what works for us as well. In India, it might be very different than what would work in, let's say, a US or a Europe market. And just to make a point on the spend, you know, Rujuta, that purse is becoming bigger.
I know.
This year, globally on corporate well-being, we are going to spend close to $80 billion.
Wow, that's amazing.
By 2025, we're going to be spending $500 billion. So each one of these guys sitting over here, yes, I know negotiations is part of the entire journey and it happens everywhere, but they are going to have far more money to spend. Only thing is we need to find out creative solutions to solve these challenges.
Well, I also think one of the ways, because, you know, I run a very small team. Given the kind of work that we do, we can't afford to have a big team because our work is very exclusive and blah, blah, blah. So we are a small team of 5 people. And what I did, you know, because instead of constantly paying money for wellness to someone who's outside of your company, I think what you should do is pay them inside. So like I pay 5,000 rupees more once any one of my girls can do a Shirsasan in the center of the room and can hold it for 30 seconds. You know, so I think instead of paying like 5 lakhs to someone outside, you can pay like this in 5,000 to many people. And then that 5,000 also feels very, very special. And these can be targets that you can, like I said, you choose for yourself, and you know, you can have a criteria of what you can accept as a target. Imagine कि कोई आपको target देगा कि मैं हर रोज खुद के लिए एक omelette बनाऊंगी, तो don't take that kind of a target, you know. But like if it's a proper workout target or whatever, you can accept that target and then start paying people money for staying fit, because when they get sick, you have to pay them. Yeah, and then there is no end to how much you have to pay. And, you know, I do know that a lot of your company plans also cover families and parents, children. And the thing is that when people within the organization keep fit, and especially if it's a woman who is keeping fit, then you can almost have this security कि अभी उसके family में कोई भी बीमार नहीं पड़ने वाला है, तो insurance का तो आपका पैसा बच रहा है. So on the one hand, you know, while you're spending or giving her a little more for staying fit, you're also ensuring that no one in the family is falling sick. So I think if you can save sickness money, then it's fitness money well spent.
All right, noted on that point.
Oh, thank you.
Save sickness money so that we can have more budgets, okay? That's the piece that we're talking. I really want to get into this whole aspect. All of us, now that the pandemic's not totally gone, but you know, the travel is back. The whole action around everything's going physical. Like, you know, last 2 years we were missing TechHR. We've seen numbers that we weren't even expecting, you know, people coming in over here. And people have flown down from all across.
Super.
And work travel is back. Now, managing food and eating local while you are traveling, like my schedule, Rujuta, is I do about 10 to 12 days a month from Singapore office.
Wow.
Right? And I need to toggle between Gurgaon and Singapore. And I'm sure many of us have this challenge. We are toggling between different places. Then how does one manage eating local, some of these pieces that you talked about? We will end up picking up a packet, right?
Okay, but you know, here's the thing, that we need to look at it realistically, that if I was picking up a packet every day, am I picking up a packet now once a week? And if I'm, you know, if you've adopted strategies that lets you pick a packet once a week, then it's great news, because otherwise you're like picking up a packet every week. हर रोज खा रहे हो, हर रोज चाहने दे यार, मैं तो मोटी ही रहने वाली हूँ, look at what I'm eating, you know, but like what about the environment which is causing you to eat like that? So I think, you know, Gautam Buddha once said that even moderation should be in moderation. So of course local खाना चाहिए, of course traditional खाना चाहिए, of course seasonal खाना चाहिए, of course time पे खाना चाहिए, but mostly वैसा खाना चाहिए. So if 90% you're eating like that and then a 10% is off, then there is no room to feel guilty or terrible about yourself. But if 90% is processed, packaged, and you know, food which is going to outlast your lifetime, then I think that's where the problem is. If you're between Singapore and Gurgaon, then I think what you should do is eat a little bit of Singapore food. So eat a little bit of kanji, have the rice, have it with vegetables. But when you're going from Gurgaon, also carry a little bit of matri, carry a little bit of shankarpada, carry a little bit of peanuts, so that your in-betweens are sorted. Otherwise, everyone feels कि पता नहीं मेरे को रात को क्या हो जाता है, मैं ना फ्रिज खोलती हूँ और चॉकलेट खाती हूँ और आइसक्रीम खाती हूँ. तो क्योंकि आप पूरा दिन भर you're not eating correctly, and why are you keeping the chocolate and the ice cream in the fridge? I mean, imagine one day you opened your fridge and there was nothing, there was just chas and there was dahi and there was a fresh fruit. What would you eat? You would eat what is available. You know, you are not going to eat the chocolate and the ice cream. The food industry goes after people like us by giving us value packs. You know, बड़े-बड़े packs में बड़ा बड़ा पॉइजन, सस्ता सस्ता सस्ता, एक के साथ दूसरा फ्री, तीसरा लो दिवाली है, you know. So yeah, we have to know के you know, कौन अपने को उल्लू बना रहे, and then not go for those kind of things. You know, when people buy big bags and purses and stuff, people say मैं लुई विटॉन से खरीदती हूँ क्योंकि इनका सेल कभी नहीं चलता है. Imagine, you know, all of these big food industries, look at the number of sales and stuff that they're constantly going after us with. Even if you like buy, I think, or order often on food delivery apps, they give you one code as a loyal customer. हाँ, वो खाली code डालो और भी सस्ता हो गया. But it's going to cost you so much more in the long run.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, one thing I was thinking, since we are at TechHR and we're talking about so much about technology over here, what's your take on role of tech gadgets in this entire piece of mindful eating? How does that enable the entire system?
I think if you're selling those gadgets, then you're in the right business, because everyone wants to delegate eating correctly and keeping a track on them to the outside. If you're using them for your own purposes, then you're doing a terrible thing. Don't wear anything that tells you, आज तुम कितना सोए, आज तुमको कैसा लग रहा है, आज तुमने कितना खाया. You know, because we all have the ability to do that for ourselves. So we have to use tech, but we have to use tech to our advantage. What we can do by ourselves, we should do by ourselves. I mean, imagine if someone asked you, how well did you sleep last night, Pushkar? And you'll be like, wait, batata hu. And then you're going to check and you're going to tell. So you have to, like I said, if you're selling it, I say this about gadgets, I say this about green tea, that if you are in the business of producing it, marketing it, distributing it, great, mast business hai, mast chalega. But if you're using it for weight loss, wo nahi chalega, So, and in India, because in India people are very smart. I know one company which gave everyone like a gadget which would measure ke aap kitna chale har roz, okay? And this of course happens in Mumbai. This story is from Mumbai. And then this girl discovered कि actually चलने का ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. अगर अंधेरी स्टेशन से सीप्स तक मैं रिक्शा में जाऊँ तो वो it was counting 10,000 steps. And then finally everyone got to know that this is a good way. So when their teams would lag behind, they'd take a rickshaw ride and then they would all be like 10,000 steps. So tech is good but tech for yourself, not such a great thing.
Okay, that's a very, very interesting outlook, Rujuta. Okay, I have close to less than 5 minutes,
Yes.
okay? I'm going to open it up for maybe 1 or 2 questions.
So I'll be very quick. Thank you so much. And I think that's a good feedback for People Matters because they served bhel puri yesterday to us and also matar kulcha. So I think we can work on that.
She talked about mindful eating and self-control, okay?
No,
But
so
also about an enabling environment.
Exactly. So my question is that you rightly stated something which you told us we are not hearing first time, right? Back of our unconscious mind, we all know that we should eat right, we should meditate, we should work out, but we don't do it. And when we design these programs for our employees, it doesn't matter how much effort we put, how much we design the way they want, they always come back with an obligation that no, we can't spend that much time because we are working from home, right? And they don't have that much time to invest. Plus, only after pandemic, we are talking a lot about wellness, although this is not a new concept. Actually, it took us a pandemic for us to realize that how much wellness is important. So when you talk to your client, how do you actually coach them? Because it's there in their unconscious mind, but do they follow your regime? What sort of challenges they share and how you help them? Thank you.
All right, that was a long question,
I
but
know.
thank you so much. There's a
मैं
lot of
wait
pain
कर
as
रही
well
थी,
that
the
I could
question-
feel.
Question कब आने वाला है? Okay. I think work from home is a very interesting thing, and I really think that one of the things that we need to remember is that, what work from home has done is that, especially, and this is especially for women, because a lot of men like to feel that हाँ मैं बहुत कुछ करता हूँ, but they really don't do anything. That for women, it has been work from home and work at home. And one of the things that HR can do is actually give out a pamphlet to the woman's family of how they can help her. But I think you will get backlash, for it, saying itna hi help karne ka
Everything
khud
is very
karo."
sensitive.
Yeah. Okay. But I think while working, one of the things that you do is this only, that you have to give them that time. And you must know that things take time for adoption. If you're looking for adoption in 1 month or 2 months, it's not going to happen. If you believe that the program that you built is right, then you have to run it at least for 3 years. That's when it becomes a part of the whole system. Otherwise, you're constantly looking for a new program. I think that's what you need to do. Yeah.
Thank you. And we have totally run out of time. I know you have a hard stop, but I can't let you go, Rujuta, without asking a rapid fire round, okay?
Okay.
4
your
questions.
Karan Johar, huh? Where is my hamper? Huh? वो negotiation में गया, hamper नहीं मिलेगा.
And we can arrange for some bhel puri or some stuff. Okay. Your favorite comfort meal?
Khichdi, dal khichdi.
Okay. I thought you'll say varan bhat, but I'll take
varan
it for a
bhat
khichdi.
also. I said khichdi because people are from everywhere, no? Dal
Okay,
khichdi,
got
yeah.
it. Favorite junk food?
There is no such thing as favorite junk food, but because I think vada pav is precious, it's not junk, Junk, it's only junk if you were not planning to eat it in the first place. I always plan to eat one in the right time.
Awesome. Most obedient celeb student of yours?
all of them are obedient, otherwise मैं इधर नहीं होती थी. You know, so like I said, see, by the time people approach me, they already want to change. You know, it is not my idea that they're adopting, it is their idea that I'm adopting, and I ensure that all my diet plans are diverse and they're culturally resonant, and that they don't require their families to eat differently from them. That's when it's a success. If you can't eat your so-called diet at a wedding, in a HR conference, at your dinner table with family, then it is bound to fail. You've set it up for failure.
Okay. Most excuse all your clients give for binge eating.
They don't binge eat. I only give them so much food that they look at food and say, अरे इतना खाऊंगी तो क्या होएगा? ऐसे कल से ज़्यादा पतली हो जाओगी और कुछ नहीं. You know, people don't want to eat roti, sabzi, dal, chawal, but it's almost like their brain is shut off when they're eating random things like chocolates and ice creams and pizzas and burgers in the night. So it's really about eating right in the day.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rujuta,
Welcome.
for sharing, pouring your heart out really on what we could do.
Thank you.
I hope everyone enjoyed this conversation, and thank you so much for being on People Matters platform.